pizza? Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. All right, so 3 claps to get the energy started for the afternoon. Elliot always loves this. All right, so you can stay seated for this one, right? But let's bring that energy in. 3 claps to me on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Okay, some housekeeping. First off, if the presentation isn't good, it's because of the Irish crew back there. I was supposed to be rereading my presentation and they fucked everything up. Second thing, anybody in here a sensitive soul? Yeah? Anybody can't handle a few F-bombs? You can leave now. Okay, if you're here, it's okay, cool. So your parents didn't give birth to a bunch of snowflakes. Okay. Anybody in need of a politically correct presentation? Good. Okay, we're set to go. My name's Daniel. I've been an affiliate owner for 15 years. The first time I set foot in a box was this box here. And it was for my level 1, which was, so coming back here, I hadn't been back since my level 1, so I'm pretty emotional actually walking back in here. It was like, I didn't come on the level 1 thinking I was going to open a gym. I came on the level 1 to learn more about what the hell Greg was putting on the website. I didn't understand half of the shit that was on the old CrossFit.com website. And I came on my level 1, it just changed my life. This room didn't exist. That was where the level 1 was happening. The other one was where the rig was. And it was in that room that it just totally blew my mind. And I called my wife at the time and I just said, hey, we need to talk. When I get back on Monday, we're both resigning. We're going to go and open a gym. And she said, stop drinking, shut the fuck up, come home and we'll have a chat. And 15 years later, we got 3 gyms and the French Showdown and that kind of stuff. So this place really changed my life. So thanks to the crew for hosting here. Gareth and Andy, thanks for all you do. To see where CrossFit is today compared to 15 years ago is pretty fucking cool. So yeah, thanks for that. I was invited to come and talk, and I've worked with these guys before, and we've done a lot of strategy stuff. I've worked with a lot of affiliate owners in the past, and he said something about, well, maybe new member integration, because a lot of these gyms are in a growth phase, and it's how to make sure that growth is sustainable. So I've got some psychology in here, some strategies, some stuff that we implement in our gyms, and I'm not saying that what we do is the only way to do it, and I'm not saying it's the best way to do it. All I'm saying is this is what we do and why we do it, right? And hopefully you'll get something from this presentation. We've got 50 minutes, we got 46 minutes and 27 seconds to go through the theory of what normally takes me 1 day if I'm doing a full workshop. So we're going to go pretty fast. You've got my email, you've got my Instagram on the board here. Please feel free. If I don't get back to you quickly, it's not by will or desire. Just keep harassing me. It's fine. Where's the guy who's been harassing me? There's one who's been harassing me. There you are. Keep harassing me, mate. Thank you. You know who it was, right? Comes up to me and goes, I'm the guy who keeps writing to you. I say, oh, fuck, it's you. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about integration. We're going to talk about what it is, why it matters, and the impact that it can have, not just on the retention of those that have actually joined your gym, but on your future joiners as well, right? We're going to be talking about the benefits for your member, for your team, for the box in general, the community in general, but also obviously for your bottom line as well, right? We're going to be talking about not just like joining by signing a contract, then you're a member, but actually changing behaviors and how you can manage, you basically manage change, right? So we become change managers, right? We're going to talk about stuff that Big Will, I used to call him Fat Will, but he's not fat anymore, he's just Big Will now. Big Will spoke about this morning, and I missed most of the presentation, but the stuff we worked on in the past was about needs-based selling. And I think he spoke about that this morning. Did he talk about needs-based selling? Selling based on needs, asking the right questions, finding out what someone fears, what they want, etc. And it's a follow-on from that. You'll see the link between actually how you start the relationship with the prospect, the first contact, the first email, the first phone call, all the way through to how you integrate them and they become an ambassador. It's based off relationship building, right? We're not just selling something. We have to get to know the person. And that's fundamental in how you integrate someone. So we'll be talking about that. And then we'll be looking at, we have a 60-day strategy in our gyms on new member integration. Maybe you guys decide it's a 21-day. Maybe you decide it's a 3-month strategy. But as the leader of your gym, can we just do a show of hands? Who owns the gym or manages the gym? Put your hands up right now. Okay, so a good chunk of you, okay. So as the leader of your gym, you need to be taking a step back and working on strategies, right? You can't just have your head, in the business every single day. You need to be taking that step back. Some people call it the golden hour, the golden hour for the Scottish guys, right? Not anything else. That 1 hour a day where you actually take a step back from working in the gym and you work on strategy. And so I believe in working on 3 different strategies to run your gym. You may have seen this before, call it the 3 pillars of success for your gym. As the business owner, you probably got these strategies already. You may not have them in the same buckets as I do. But on this slide, I've just put them in very quickly. If you'd like the slides, just send me an email email is better, and I'll send the slides to you. But the first bucket is the prospecting and sales piece that you spoke about a bit with Will this morning, right? It's on finding new members, right? And this is fundamental, and it's probably where most of us were traditionally the weakest. Why? Because we came from being passionate CrossFitters and passionate coaches, so we loved this service piece, right? We wanted to give class, we wanted to coach, and we're just hoping that by putting CrossFit above the door, it'd be sufficient to attract people in. We know today that that's not true anymore, right? The environment's evolved. The name above the door, doesn't matter what name it is, isn't sufficient. You have to prospect. The weakness we have isn't necessarily selling either. The weakness we generally have is prospecting. Why? Because my definition of selling is quite simple. It's simply the transfer of enthusiasm. If he's a gym owner and I'm a prospect, and he's sufficiently enthusiastic about what he's doing, he should be able to sell me on the idea of joining his gym, right? That's what it is. It's a transfer of enthusiasm. So selling isn't the problem, prospecting is, and you spoke about that with Will this morning. The second part to any business is about you find a client, you're selling insurance, you're a builder, whatever it is. You've got to find the person to serve, right? And then you've got to deliver that service, right? You've got to find the person who wants a new kitchen. You go and install the new kitchen, right? You've got to, you sell cars. You've got to find the person who wants to buy a new car. You sell them the car. You give them that service. That is the cycle of success in any traditional business, is you sell what you're giving and you give what you're selling. That's it, right? It's a cycle of success. Now, if you're good at prospecting and selling, you've got the 2 things that enable you to give good service. One, you've got the people to serve, you've got the members to coach, and you've got the financial means to do it. You've got the financial means to pay your rent, turn the lights on, pay a coach, etc., etc. The better you are at this, the more means you have, which means you can give better and better service. You can afford to put, when I came here 15 years ago, there weren't toilets. We had portaloos. I remember having a shit out the front of the, yeah. There were no changing rooms. There was no aircon. There's still no aircon. No, there is aircon. No. But you can afford to give bigger and better service, right? The floor was dodgy. They had a green couch at the end. And it's like, so by being more successful here, you can give better stuff here. Now, by giving better service and hospitality, I'd add a second word here is hospitality. The difference between service and hospitality is service is what you promise to give and you give it. Hospitality is how you make the person feel while you're giving it, right? They're 2 different things, but they go hand in hand. The better you are at this, the better service and hospitality you can give, right? The better the service and hospitality, what happens? You develop a good reputation. And then that closes the cycle. You get a good reputation, word of mouth, bring a friend, referrals, and so on and so forth. And Will spoke about that this morning as well, right? So this is the traditional cycle of success. Insurance, selling chairs, hotel rooms, restaurants, whatever it is, right? That's the cycle of success for any industry, any business. Do we agree on that? Okay. So what's particular about the gym business? And in particular, within the gym business, what's particular about CrossFit? Is that CrossFit's fucking scary. Walking in a gym is fucking scary. How many of you, when you came in this morning, you're excited to come, but as you walk up, you have like a little knot in your stomach? Do you get that? I get that. I got that walking up, right? It's nerves of walking into a place with a group of people that have made, this group of people have never been together before. This exact group, and will never be together again, right? Next time you go to an affiliate gathering, you still have that nerves as you're walking in, right? So imagine that happens to you. You own gyms. You know this environment. You know this business. You know that today you've got friendly people like Gareth and Andy waiting to welcome you in. So how does a new member feel? How does someone who's been sedentary for the last 15 years feel? How does someone who's never done a deadlift feel as they're approaching your gym? They've been cajoled into coming in to do a trial session. They're scared to friggin' death. And you may be sufficiently enthusiastic to transfer your enthusiasm, so I sign a contract. I've done a trial session, I got endorphins going, shit, I'm not dead. I did deadlifts for the first time in my life. I can do 5 push-ups. Hey, congratulations. I'm excited. He talks to me. He presents me the options. He says, this is the best way to start. Come on, let's get you going. My friend says, yeah, join. And I signed the contract. Am I a member of your gym yet? On paper, I am. Right? But there's a very big difference between signing a contract and that psychological commitment to saying, yeah, I'm here for the long term. Most people join, sign your gym, and they're doing the thing of, I'm giving it a trial. I'm gonna dip my toe and I'm gonna see if I can make it work, right? Yeah, that's what they're doing. So this pillar is fundamental, and it's pretty unique to what we do. It's the pillar of integration. So this is what we're here to talk about, is strategies around the integration of new members. Now, this integration pillar is not separate from that, and it's not separate from that. When you have a good strategy on integration, we'll see how it actually helps you attract different profiles of prospects. It helps you attract more prospects, and it helps you convert more people into new members. It's a great tool for convincing them to join your gym, but also how it is a fantastic tool for ensuring that they actually stay part of your gym. It's a really good service to give, right? Is that okay? Is that cool? Okay. If you want this slide, just let me know. If you want to take a photo, please take a photo. It's going in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we'll probably, the flywheel, right, from what Will was talking about, basically comes from this. It's what we call the 8 stages of a sale. These are the steps for needs-based selling. This is what we do in my 3 gyms. My gyms are CrossFit Louvre 1, CrossFit Louvre 2, and then obviously CrossFit Louvre 3. No imagination whatsoever. Just kept it simple. And from day 1, I had a strategy on the service, and I had a strategy on sales and prospecting, and I had a strategy on new member integration. But the new member integration strategies become more and more important as we've gone through time. I realize that I'm having to invest more and more resource into that integration piece. We literally have 8 steps to sell. The first one is prospecting that you're talking about with Will this morning. How you meet and greet someone, how you use the meet and greet to break ice and start to create rapport and trust. When you have that trust, it means that they allow you to ask questions. You earn the right to ask them a question, right? They trust you sufficiently to actually give you honest answers, and that's where you start to analyze their needs. And we're not just talking about physical needs. Above all, we're talking about emotional and psychological needs as well, right? Anyone studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Yeah? So we know that at the bottom, you've got physiological needs, but then you go towards safety needs, and you go towards sense of belonging needs. So you go towards success needs, and then you go towards realization, being part of something bigger. Everybody has needs, and if we can understand what the prospect's needs are, and we can bring an element of an answer to that, they will want to join your gym. We then do the tour and personal presentation. So we present what we do in the gym, but it's very different from one person to the next. Why? Because their needs are different. So you can only do a personalized presentation if you know what their needs are. So you can't skip this, otherwise you're just doing a museum tour, right? Once you've done the personalized presentation, so they trust you, you know they need something, they know they need something, they know that you have the solution to what they need. You then present prices to see the options and show the options that relate. From there, you're overcoming objections, referrals, and then the last part is the follow-up and integration. So these are the 8 steps that I train my teams on. The part we're going to be speaking about is the follow-up and integration piece, because it's a fundamental part of the new membership stuff. Is that okay? Cool. I can move on. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay. Because we've only got 35 minutes left. I promised not to fuck up their timeline. I'll still fuck it up slightly, but only by a few minutes. Okay. The other thing. Aren't these the shortest banners you've ever seen in the world? It's like, what'd you get? You got like a 2-for-1 offer on these. What? Okay. That was it. Yeah. So Andy can stand behind you. You can see his hair. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking, who said? It was one of the Irish guys. Yeah, I bought them on Temu. Okay. Okay. So the integration process. We're just going to talk about some basic stuff. Well, why is it fundamental? Well, obviously, fundamentals are growing membership numbers. And we're going to look at the adoption curve, we'll look at all of that. Important to maintain the culture of the box. Why? Because as you grow, it's really easy for your character and personality to be reflected within a 100-member gym, right? You know those 100 members. You probably signed their contracts. You probably gave them their first class. You probably taught them to snatch. You probably brought them in for the first barbecue. You probably judged their first open and so on and so forth, right? It's really easy to develop that culture. But then when you start to scale your gym to be a 500-member gym or a 1,000-member gym, that becomes harder, right? Unless you've literally codified what the integration looks like, right? And we've codified a lot of that stuff. But if you want to grow your gym, but still, like, when people come to my gym, either one in Paris or in Bordeaux, and they go, fuck, everyone's saying hi, everyone high fives, everybody knows each other's name, they know exactly what's going on, and yet you've got 1,300 members. How do you do that? You do it one member at a time. And you do it by bringing them in through an integration process where they're getting the same education as if you had a 100-member gym, right? So it becomes important to maintaining a CrossFit vibe in a larger scale gym as well, right? And then obviously that consistency in how they use the gym and the results. And then you want to be turning them into ambassadors. You don't want them just to join your gym. As Will said this morning, what's the best way to prospect? You can spend €1,000 a month on someone doing ads for you, right? Like, hey, we've got 20 spots this month for 10 guys who want to lose, a bit of body fat. You can spend $1,000, or you can actually work the environment of your current members, right? Their friends and family, do events and that kind of stuff. They will trust you. They will want to bring in their friends if you've done this right. If they know that, hey, shit, it worked for me, these guys are really good, they really want me to get results, I will now bring in my sister, I'll now bring in my mother, right? So the integration process is fundamental to actually not just them being a consistent member, but wanting to bring in their friends and family. Okay, so we've spoken about this. Let's keep going. 2 levels of integration. It's not just them being a part of the gym, it's how do they integrate CrossFit into their life. It's not just about how you make them feel welcome in the gym. It's about those small changes that mean that after a few months, they're going to, Wakanda, I am CrossFit, right? That's the thing you want. You don't want them saying, how do you get fit? Oh, I do high rocks, or I go running on a weekend. Oh, I do a bit of CrossFit. I mean, like, when you talk to someone who's been around for a while, it's like CrossFit is life. It's like you couldn't imagine your life without CrossFit. How disgusting and unfit and shabby and like, how long would you have to go without having sex if you'd never discovered CrossFit? It'd be a freaking long time, it's like CrossFit is like as important as oxygen and food, and that's how important we want CrossFit to become for these people as well, right? And we don't want to water that down. Are you laughing at me or with me? Oh, okay, that's a good answer. I was like, okay. They're taking the piss over there at the back. Okay. Let's keep going. So benefits of the well-planned thing. So for the member, okay, obviously, the mechanics, consistency, intensity piece, MCI, everybody knows that, right? I don't have to go through that again. But if you've got, so we run some classes, we got some classes at like 24 people. 24 people class, you're going, shit, how do you do that? Well, that's where the integration piece becomes really important as well. If you've got 3 new members in there and they've never even PVC'd a deadlift or done an empty barbell deadlift, that's going to be a pretty tough class to run for your coach, right? But if you've managed to bring them into small groups and literally go slow to begin with those new members, right? You literally spend 55 minutes and you're doing some theory stuff, you're doing some mechanics with PVC, empty barbell, etc., and then they join class after 3 or 4 small group sessions, and maybe a one-to-one. They're way easier to integrate into a pre-existing community, right? So for the coaching element, it's really, really fundamental. For their confidence of going into a class, and Gareth has got 15 people in class. He's got me and another newbie. He's got 6 people that have been here for less than a year, and then he's got 6 people that have been here for more than a year. And he's going, so we're doing cleans. And it's the first time I've ever heard that word clean. I'm automatically I'm on the outside, right? So it takes away all these boundaries and the moments of feeling like a bit of a loser, a bit on the outside. I'm not the cool kid in school sort of thing, right? The integration process is go slow at the start, right? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast sort of thing. It slows things down for them. So I'll talk about what we do with our members, but it helps to have an understanding of the methodology. We send an email, and I'll talk about that later as well, but in the email there's a link to a small booklet that's our integration booklet, so it covers the contents that we're going to be going through with them in the 3 sessions. But we also send them the link to the level 1. We send them the link to level 1 saying, hey, if you really want to get to understand CrossFit, read this. It's not just for coaches. So we do stuff like that. We want them to be studying CrossFit. We want them to be understanding stuff. Those are easy wins, right? When a member comes in and they've printed the level 1 manual, that's a good friggin' sign, We want them to understand what we do and how we do it. So in the integration process, we don't just talk about the methodology. We talk about the gym, and we talk about the events we do. We talk about the open. I was just telling the guys, the Irish crew, that for about the last year, every new member, we've been talking to them about the open. Even if it's like, it's April, and we're saying, hey, next February, we're going to be doing something called the open, and we're going to be benchmarking how fit you are. And you'll be benchmarking it with like 250,000 people around the world. It's really great. So we actually sow the seed of them. You're going to stay until next February so you can benchmark, right? So all that sort of stuff we have time to talk about with our new members. We talk about the different types of classes we have. We don't just do WODs. Like a lot of you guys, 15 years ago, it's like, if you weren't deadlifting, that's not CrossFit, you know? What? You do yoga? That's not a CrossFit gym if you do yoga. What? You got machines? That's not a CrossFit. Bullshit. If you're doing functional movement constantly varied at high intensity, that's pretty much friggin' CrossFit, right? And if you're doing classes with nothing too technical and nothing too heavy, is that still CrossFit? Yeah, it's a subsection of CrossFit. It's still CrossFit, but it may be a smart way of bringing in people that are intimidated by Olympic lifting or intimidated by pistols. Or you get me going in to do I've never done CrossFit. I'm 52, and you get me into a gym and you ask me to do friggin' pistols on the first workout, I'm probably never coming back. Why? Because I won't be able to walk for 3 days, right? My knees are shot. But you get me going in and doing air squats to a wall ball, okay. So we're getting smart on different types of classes. So we explain every single different type of class as well to our new members. Make sure they're using, we want them to get that consistency piece. We will drive them toward, we want everyone to go into the WOD and our main programming piece, but we use all the different types of classes as like a honeypot to attract all the insects, right? And it's okay, you may spend 6 months just doing the conditioning class. A lot of ergs and a lot of dumbbell work before you want to go in and do some Olympic lifting and stuff. And that's okay. And maybe you just want to do the Olympic lifting stuff and you're not too big on the gym. That's okay. But just keep coming in. Come in 3-4 times a week, and eventually we'll get you going into the rest of the gym, right? So all of that, the integration piece enables us to have those discussions, right? It enables us to goal set with them as well, right? It enables them to meet the team and other newbies and not be the only one. It's like, imagine it's midterm, right? You're at school, you're 12 years old. Your parents move house, and they haven't moved house at the beginning of the year. It's mid-February, right? And you've got to start a new school mid-February, and you're walking into a classroom. Every kid knows each other. You're the only new kid. How fucking horrible is that? But that's the sensation our members have, unless they go into an induction class, an integration class, and there are 4 other people that have just joined the gym. You're not the only kid that's pitching up mid-February. You've got 4 or 5 other kids there as well. It's really reassuring to not be the only newbie in town, right? To understand about scaling as well, right? It gives you time to talk about that. Scaling is not a crime, we know that. But like, scaling is essential. There's no problem with you. I mean, like, Ian's used to lifting lighter weight than anyone else in his gym, right? It's okay, Ian, that's fine, right? You know? Gareth is used to finishing last in every single workout in his, that's fine, right? I'm 52, I train with my coaches who are 28. Do I finish last every time? Yeah, every single workout I'm last. Every single workout, those little fuckers are standing around and go on, Daniel, go on. So shut the fuck up. But it's okay, you've got to get used to that. You've got to put your ego aside, right? So we teach them about all of that as well. There's no embarrassment, there's no humiliation in finishing last. Every time you come to the gym is a success, right? So those messages are really important to get across. For the team, okay, easier to integrate newbies, we've spoken about that, and the members more coachable, okay. Benefits for the box, okay, bottom line, obviously, right? You're converting more prospects, you're integrating them better, and you'll convert them into ambassadors. Those are the, and they will bring you your leads, right? Those are the biggest take-homes on this, right? We're going to be talking about the early majority on prospect. Yeah, let's jump to that. Don't need this. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay. The 13s. Do you know what the 13s are? Okay. There was a study by IHRSA, which is the International Health Racket Sports Association, a few years ago. 13% of people who joined the gym never worked out in that gym. 13%. Not once. 0 workouts. 0. So they literally go in, they might do a trial session, they might just do a consult, and then Gareth conveys so much enthusiasm. Look at his body language, so enthusiastic. Right? He's oozing enthusiasm. And he convinces me to join his gym. I'm like, yeah. I told my wife I was going to join the gym. The doctor told me I need to do something. I've joined the gym. You give me my membership card, I put it in my wallet, I put it in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, join the gym, off to the pub. Let's go, right? Let's go watch the cricket. And I never go and train. I've literally just like, I've purchased away my guilt of not having, I promised my wife I'd do it, I've done it, that's it. Commitment done. But I never actually go and train. That's pretty bad, right? that is, that person is making a bad buying decision. Why? 6 months' time, they've been paying your membership for 6 months, they're pissed off, they want to leave, and then will they ever talk good about your gym? No. They've made what we call, they'll go into PTSD, they have a bad purchasing experience. They will not talk well about your gym. They will not talk well about CrossFit in general. Those are the sorts of people that, if that happens in his gym, it's doing me harm. If it happens in my gym, it's doing you harm, because that creates a bad buying experience around the brand CrossFit. We don't want that. What about the other 13%? The other 13%, they join your gym, they come in, they do one workout, and then they never come back again. Arguably, that's even worse. As in, they came in, they had the intention of really training, they trained, and either they felt like a fish out of water, they had so much physical pain afterwards, they just didn't enjoy the workout at all, didn't connect. There's something that was broken during that one session, right? Maybe it went too fast, they didn't understand the vocabulary in front of the whiteboard, they didn't know how the class was going to be run, whatever it is, right? They were expecting something else, and they never came back again. So that's 26%, literally 26%. That's more than a quarter of the people who join a gym that never actually integrate that gym. Now, it's like members of staff, when you hire someone, are they a good investment for you in the first few months, or do they take you more time and resource than they provide for your gym? They take you more time and resource, right? Because you're coaching them. It's going to take them time actually to become productive. Same thing for new members. Your time, your investment in getting those leads and getting those people into your gym is costly. It's costly in terms of resource. So for a member to actually become financially a good contributor to your gym, it will take several months. That means 26%. These are just like a waste of resource, total waste of resource. And the 26% that are not going to be talking well about your gym. So if you're in a small community, you can't afford to have this happen. No way. Arguably in a big city like London, maybe you can afford to have a few people that bounce, right? We don't want them bouncing, we want them sticking, right? So that's what the new member integration is going to be. We want to reduce this down as much as we can. Does that make sense? Okay. So in terms of business, that's the issue. You guys know this. You know about the adoption, the bell curve, right? I was going to draw on the screen, probably not a good idea. How not to make friends, right? Okay. So, when you're looking at the bell curve, this is it looks more like a dodgy car, right? Down here, and then you got 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 here, okay? So, no, laggards are bigger, right? So here you've got the innovators. The innovators, that's you. That's you. You guys are the innovators. You guys and girls are the innovators. You're the ones that found CrossFit on some dodgy website, or you traveled to the US or something, or you were in the military, you know, and then someone said, yeah, I do this CrossFit thing. Yeah, let's stick on a weight vest. Let's go run. Let's go do some pull-ups and shit. And all of a sudden, you've fallen into this thing, and no one in your entourage had ever heard of it before, right? You're the one that brings it to your entourage. You are the innovators, right? You're a tiny percentage. You're the nutters. You're the crazy ones. Everyone goes, oh, yeah, it's just a fad. You ever heard that? You're crazy. You're going to open a CrossFit gym? You nuts. That's just, yeah, it's just fashionable now, but it'll be gone in a couple of years. You know, no, doofus. It's been around since 2001 as a methodology, right? So that's the innovators. Then you've got the early adopters here. The early adopters are the people that have been waiting for someone to organize something around CrossFit, right? So when I opened in Paris, we had firemen travel literally an hour and a half to our gym to do a 1 hour session and an hour and a half back. They'd have to allocate at least 4 hours to come and do a 1 hour training session. Because they would have to get the TGV, which is the speedy train. It's literally like a different part of France they'd come from, right? Friggin' crazy, right? All the military, the French judo team, we had GIGN, GPN, which were like SWAT and special forces and all this kind of stuff. They were all waiting for CrossFit to pitch up. Those are the early adopters, right? They're the nutters, right? They're the ones that want to be doing something new, fresh. They want to be doing more, faster, harder, heavier than anybody else, right? Those are the early adopters. We've all, some of you are those people, right? But we've all had those as our members as well, right? Those are not necessarily the people that stay. They're not necessarily the people whose life you fundamentally change. They've often heard of CrossFit before, they've done it before, that kind of stuff. They were looking for a place to do it. Then you get to the early majority. Now, the early majority here, these are everyday people, right? They hear of it because these people, unfortunately now with social media, I would even put in here like influencers, you know? All those idiots that pretend to be like just eating beef kidney and all this kind of stuff, but really they're injecting their ass, right? All these people here, online influencers, all this kind of stuff, they make a lot of noise around CrossFit or whatever. It's like, yeah, I've discovered this new thing. It's called High Rocks. You know, it's like, oh, fuck. Oh, God. I just had like, yeah. When I was talking about High Rocks, I did a High Rocks. I can't, I'll talk about that experience. Early adopters. They make noise. They make noise that these people see and hear, and they think, well, hey, if they're using this to get fit, they're super fit, maybe I'll give it a shot. Not sure it's for me, but they seem to think that it can be, you know, if the messaging is right. And then so you start to get like the 50-year-old taxi driver who walks in your gym, right? That's when the early adopters happen. This is where the large majority of your population is situated, early majority and late majority. Now, this guy here, the early adopter, does he really need an integration package? Perhaps not. He's like the guy of like, no, I don't want the theory, I just want to burn, man. I just want to sizzle on the floor, you know? Just really fuck me up, you know? Hit me with, you know, it's like, what, you don't have part A, B, C, D, E, F? Like, what, it's only 60 minutes? Come on, man. What, Fran, 7 minutes. I need 3 Frans. And, you know, it's like, these idiots here, right? You get to the early majority, these guys have never done a snatch, right? Maybe they've never trained in a group. Maybe they've never actually been in a gym. Or they've been in a gym, but only with earphones on, right? They've never been coached, right? So I would argue that these people need an integration process far more than these people here, right? Who have the biggest hang-ups? It's like my sister, she's 55, right? She's been through a divorce. She had a tough time, shit at work, my dad died, all this kind of stuff. So she's carrying a lot of weight, a lot of baggage, right? She would need reassuring, she would need to trust the coach more than anyone here, right? These people, when you start to attract these people, this is when you need to have, without doubt, a strategy on integration. You can get by with these members with no integration. That's fine, right? But these guys, for them to stick, do we agree on that? Sounds logical, right? Okay. What happens when the early majority start to join your gym and you're good at asking for referrals or bring a friend? The 50-year-old taxi driver, he goes down the pub and he's got 5 mates down the pub. They used to play 5-a-side football. He starts to bring them in, right? And they're the late majority. This is where our future lies as CrossFit gyms. Our future lies not necessarily in giving these guys that extra 1 kilo on their snatch or giving these guys and girls that minus 2 seconds on their Fran time. Our future lies in bringing everyday people CrossFit into their lives, right? When you look at most of your members, are they the early majority or are they early adopters? Probably early majority, late majority rather than early adopters. So the integration process is fundamental to these people, right? The laggards, I mean, they're the people that they have to get dumped by their wife to think, fuck, I'm going to go and, what do they call it? Glowing up or some shit like that now? What do they call it? What's it called? It's a glow up. We used to just call it sorting your shit out, right? And fucking, you know, growing a pair, you know, fucking getting off the couch, you fat fuck. And then those are the laggards, right? Okay. Talking about needs-based selling. This is it's one way to represent Maslow's. No, I was going to draw on the board again. Okay, I'll do it over here. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So these are Maslow's needs. I would argue that this is true for every single person in the planet. If you'd like to understand Maslow's and how it'll affect your business, read a book called Peak. Read a book called Peak by Chip Conley. A book called Peak by Chip Conley. It is not on the list of 16 books that you may have received from me in a past presentation. This is on the second list of 16 books. So it's not in the top 16. It's in between 17 and 32, right? The second list is being compiled now, right? But read a book called Peak, and you'll understand Maslow's. But Maslow's theory is that people's needs, they may not even understand them, but everyone has needs. And they go in this order, and you need to fulfill, at least in part, the basic needs for the needs above to become important or increasingly important. And someone who doesn't sleep or is in pain isn't really worried about their cognitive development. They're not really worried about how they look because I've got bad back. You know, when I have a back crisis and I can't walk, I don't care about my hair. You know what I mean? I don't care if my sock has got a hole in it. I'm just like, fuck, someone help me with my back, right? If I'm hungry, doesn't matter what you're teaching me. I can't even pay attention because I haven't eaten for 2 days, you know? So you have to be fulfilling these needs for the other ones to become important. Now, he also recognized that as people move up these needs, you fulfill the needs, you get towards self-actualization, which means that the person becomes an increasingly valuable part of any community or society. They contribute more and more for other people. You have basic needs here, so you're looking after yourself. Physiological needs, safety needs, my relationship needs, sense of love, etc. And then when you get to esteem and cognitive, you can turn towards other people. And when you turn towards other people, all of a sudden you start to build things that are outrageous because you've got a team and that kind of stuff. So by helping people to fulfill these needs, we build better people. We develop human beings. I would argue that in a CrossFit box, this is what we do. We don't train people. We don't just make them fitter. We develop better human beings. We're talking about this with the Irish crew, saying that, you know, like, as a man, I go to a gym. I'm 52 years old. If I hadn't discovered CrossFit, I'd be going, my God, what would my life look like? I would be a worse dad. I'd be a worse partner. I'd be a worse friend, a worse boss, a worse colleague, a worse son, a worse neighbor. I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't have CrossFit helping me to fulfill these needs, right? So that's what we do. Now, this is interesting because this applies also to your team. So if you have youngsters, they have these needs. The more you can help them fulfill their needs, the more they can become a productive part of your team and become excellent. So needs-based selling is about identifying what the needs of your prospects are, what your needs of your members are. Not just the needs, but there's also a flip side to this, is their fears. What are they afraid of? What baggage are they carrying? What don't they like? What's happened in their past that may mean that they don't necessarily want to be in a class of 20 people. Maybe you want to be guided into PT, but you need that time to work it out. Maybe they're afraid of weightlifting. Why? Because someone told them you're going to hurt your back. I mean, all that sort of shit, right? The idea of, oh yeah, I'm unfit, so I need to go and get fit before I come to your gym. It's like, shit, no. This is where we're gonna help you, above all, tick those physiological needs. Safety needs aren't just physical safety needs. They're psychological safety needs. It means like the nerves when you walked through the door, that's about, am I going to be made to feel welcome, right? Am I going to feel a part of this? You know, am I psychologically safe in that environment, right? Am I going to find like-minded people who have my best interest at heart, right? All of those things you can find out in the needs analysis if you're doing it right. So your integration doesn't start when they've joined your gym. Your integration starts as soon as you friggin' start to communicate with them. As soon as you show interest with them. Oh, instead of going like, oh yeah, you're looking for a gym? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a really great gym. We've got 75 classes a week. We do CrossFit. We're going to sort you out. Yeah. You look like shit. Don't worry. We'll sort you out. In 6 months, you'll be hench in 6 months, mate. You know, you'll be so popular on Grindr, you won't be able to like, freaking, you know, it's like you'll be like, come in with us, right? You know, like he doesn't care how many classes. What he cares about is maybe the fact that I don't know. He joined a gym and he hurt himself in the past gym. Maybe that. Or he joined a gym and he paid for a year and he only went twice. And he doesn't want to have that same mistake again. Maybe he's been told that Ollie lifting is dangerous. Maybe it's like, I need to ask those questions. I need to ask about him. I need to just show interest, get him talking and telling me. I need to be finding out about his needs and his fears. If I can do that, I can understand what he needs. And then when I present the solutions, I'm presenting solutions to his needs and to satisfy his fears. Is that okay? So literally from first phone call, even email interaction, I recommend if you're getting an email coming in, get on the phone as quickly as possible. And then get from the phone to being face-to-face as quickly as possible. And then do a really good consult. And then take time and ask questions and go slow. Don't necessarily present prices and that kind of stuff, right? So people don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? So it's all about building relationships. Is that logical stuff so far? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Okay. We have to change people's habits. This is just like, if you want something on change management, Who Moved My Cheese by a guy called Ken Blanchard. That's in the list of 16, right? Ken Blanchard, Who Moved My Cheese, right? Is about change management. You're managing change in their lifestyle, right? You're managing change in their habits. You're managing change in how they move, how they think, etc. So there are two moments that are dangerous moments. When they come in, they're in a comfort zone, but they know that that comfort zone is not sufficient. That's why they've come in to find some sort of change. You're going to introduce change. What happens when they do their first class? They're like going, holy shit. Even the ones that are fit or think they're fit, right? Guys come in, they've got like brick shit houses, and then you get them snatching, and they go, fucking hell, what's going on here, right? It's like, I'm not as fit as I thought I was, right? You introduce something new, it's automatically very uncomfortable. So there are 2 danger periods. That initial one, where they're going, actually, I think I've literally off the bat, I've made a mistake. They become part of that 13 and 13%, that 26%, right? And then the second danger period is actually once you've got them into class, they're doing a few classes, but then maybe after a few weeks, the DOMs are lasting too long, or they think they're lasting too long, or they finished last on a workout and their ego takes a hit, or they think they should be improving. I lost 3 kilos, I'm looking a bit better, but I've stagnated. They have unreasonable expectations as to how fast they're going to actually get results, right? So there are 2 danger periods. The initial one that we have to overcome by literally setting appointments. When they join your gym, when they sign the gym, literally take 3, 4, 5 appointments on that first day, right? And make sure they come in. So you're confirming, etc. That's the first danger point. And the second one is a few weeks in, when they hit that first plateau. You've lived that with some members before? They're keen as mustard. They do like a month and a half or 2 months, and then all of a sudden, you don't see them anymore. Yeah, well, I thought I'd go back to swimming or go back to running because, yeah, I kind of plateaued. Yeah, I was stuck on the pull-ups. Or whatever. They literally do one workout where they hit a wall and they go, fuck, right? And then they throw their toys out. So you need to keep revising, and that's where going slow at the beginning, you give them as much on mechanics, you build as much rapport as possible so that when they do hit the second period, they're willing to actually talk to you about it, not just disappear, and then it's too late, right? So again, the integration period is really important. You literally introduce something, it becomes very, and this is the same when you're trying to change the habits of a member of your team, right? I use this for when we're coaching our teams. Literally anything new, any change in strategy, any change you want to impact in your gym, you're going to have to take your team through this as well, right? But they'll get to a line here. You introduce it, it's very uncomfortable. Keep going. You're gonna be unsuccessful to begin with. You're gonna get frustrated to begin with. Expect a bumpy road, right? Revise it, review it, come back on the basics, the mechanics, etc., right? It'll be uncomfortable, and just keep going. They will get to this moment where it's a decision-making line. Now, some people will decide, fuck it, this isn't for me. Even in your team, right? You employ someone, they'll get to this moment, they go, oh no, I'm gonna go back to being a barista. Maybe I should go back to teaching Les Mills, body pump and cycling and shit, right? And reading off a script, you know? They'll get to the decision-making line and decide it's not for them. And that's fine, you've done your job. But the same thing for members, right? And this is where you may need to have a moment where you come back with a service call or you invite them in for a chat or a catch-up, just to have a chat. They have to make the decision to be receptive to your coaching. Every single member will go through that moment where they decide or not to be coachable by you. Right? The more they trust you, the easier it is for them to step over this line and go in the right direction. Right? But if all we do is we sign a contract and we throw them into a class and then hope it lands, more and more people will bounce off here. Right? Is that okay? That's cool? Okay, cool. Why people leave? Well, same thing, but just with a little bit more about the motivation. And we call this situational leadership, situational management. You've got 4 periods to someone learning and adopting something, someone becoming good at something, right? Situation 1, 2, 3, 4. The red dotted line is their motivational morale, or their commitment to it, right? The yellow line is their skill and ability. And again, the psychology behind this applies to your members in adopting and their commitment to your gym, as much as it applies to your team members, right? In how good they become at the job you're coaching them to become, to do. They start keen as mustard, right? So your members join a gym, they call their friends, yeah, guess what? Yeah, I'm doing CrossFit, man. Yeah. Central London, dude. Yeah, in the Arches. Yeah, hard as. Yeah, burpees all over the shop. Yeah. Sleds? No, don't do that shit. No, we do real stuff. Yeah. You're gonna see how fit I'm gonna get. Yeah, mate. Fucking on that 5-a-side pitch, I'm gonna, yeah. Keen as mustard, right? Tells his wife, don't worry, honey, I'll be losing this. You know, I won't have to look in the mirror to see my, I'll be able to look down. Yeah. Keen as mustard, right? Except they don't know shit from caramel. They've never done CrossFit. They've maybe never trained correctly. They've never been coached, right? They don't know how hard a workout is. They've never had that experience, you know, the Fran cough or the fire breather experience, that first time you can feel blood in your throat. someone who's been sedentary and you coach them to that point, that's pretty scary shit, right? They go, oh, I'm dying. No, it's fine. I coughed for 2 days. Yeah, Fran cough, normal, you know? They don't know all this stuff, right? So here their keen is mastered, but their skill is low. You need to be quite directive. Now, direction takes time. So if you're throwing them into a class, your coaches won't have that time, right? Like stance, setup, hands, boom, bam, boom, you know, all the stuff you go through on level 1s, level 2s, that kind of stuff. It's pretty tough to integrate into a large class. What's needed to be directive, right? When you're directive, they will learn. Oh, my feet go here? Okay. So they're going to make fewer mistakes, right? But they're going to be lifting lighter weight than, it's like, you've had guys like come in or hench, and then you got the 40-year-old mother of two who's snatching heavier than them, you know, and you're going, no, mate, I think you should go empty barbell, and the guy's like going, you know, like looking at like his ego. It's like that's friggin' frustrating. They'll come out of that and they're going to be questioning themselves, right? So their commitment, their morale drops. Or they do a good workout, and then the next day they wake up and they go, what the fuck? You know, it's like, oh my God, they can't go down the stairs. First time they've had DOMs, right? All this kind of stuff here. Or they rip their hands, you know? Or they get a tendonitis. Oh my God, I'm injured. Now, who hasn't got tendonitis? Who's got tendonitis here? Put your hands up, right, if you can. Everyone's got friggin' tendonitis, right? But their commitment drops. This is important to understand. This happens naturally to everybody that is going to join your gym. The dip is greater on some than on others, right? But if we don't coach this piece here, if we can't get them across this here, this line here, that's when they leave. They depart from your gym. So we want to coach them through this, right? So you need time to be directive and you need time to coach. But coaching isn't just coaching the technique on a movement. It's coaching them through psychologically the workout or a series of workouts, right? It's coaching them through the month. It's having that relationship. Coaching isn't about coaching just one class. It's about the expression that you've probably heard is transformational coaching. Transformational coaching happens before, during, after class. It happens on WhatsApp. It happens on your social media. It happens in your chat groups. It happens at the barbecue at the end of the month. Every conversation you have is about coaching your members to be consistent and get results, right? That's what this is about. But recognize this and tell them it's normal. So in our integration process, we show this to our new members. We tell them, you're keen as mustard today, right? Yeah. Wait until we sort you out with a Fran, or we do a Murph, or we do a Chad, 1,000 step-ups. How fucked up are your legs after that? I mean, like, you know? You're going to go through this. It's normal. It's logical. Wait until you move from doing 2 sessions a week to 4. You know what I mean? It's like, this is logical. So we inform them. This is what you're going to go through, and this is what we're here for, right? So we use this graph. And then you get to the moment where they get better, and they start. How do you know when they're moving through here? They start. Hey, look at my snatch. This, right? Right? Yeah. Like the guys come in, they're wearing baggies and stuff, and then all of a sudden the dude's been a member for 8 months, and all of a sudden he's walking around with his top off. It's like, what the fuck's going on with this guy? You know? It hasn't happened with the ladies yet, but I'm still, living in hope. 15 years, it's like, still living in hope. So you get to here, right? It's like, hey, first muscle up, ringing the bell, and all this kind of stuff, right? They start to, when they get here is because they start to take photos of the workout and posting it on Instagram and all this kind of stuff. They're gaining confidence, right? They go from wearing, Decathlon, all of a sudden they're wearing Velites, and they got the bag, and they got the patch on the bag. They got gym grips, and they can only do 3 pull-ups, and they got gym grips and all this kind of stuff, right? They're getting to this situation. But that doesn't mean we stop coaching. It just means that instead of being directive, here we're being supportive. You're working on details with them, right? And then we get to delegation. What is delegation? Delegation is when you've got a class of 15, you've got 3 members that can snatch 100 kgs. You've got snatching the class. You're not gonna take them through the same warm-up as the beginners. You're going to say, guys, you've got 15 minutes to warm up, start loading your bar, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to spend some time on Technico. You're not going to bore them with a PVC empty bar drill for 15 minutes, right? You start to delegate towards them, right? So, okay. So that's me knowing that I'm fucking up their timeline again, right? But you get to the delegation piece. Now, we call this part here, this S1. So if you've got the 4, oh God, this is really bad. Hang on. Let's get this one. You've got S1 here, This is where you're unconsciously incompetent. It means your member doesn't know that they don't know. Until they've tried it, until they've done it, until they've seen it, they've experienced it, they don't know exactly what they have, the margin for progression they have, right? So you need to be directive there. And then they become consciously incompetent. It means they're shit and they know it, right? And this is where it dips, right? And it's okay, we've all been there, right? Whenever you start something new, this sort of conversation is, hey, the only difference between you and them, they started earlier than you, they've been through this. You're there now, it's just a step to go through. That sort of conversation is an important conversation to have with your members, right? And then the third one is, you become consciously competent. This is where they start to take their shirt off, you know. They wait for the room to be absolutely full before they start to do their static handstand, all that kind of shit, right? And then here is unconsciously competent. They're fantastic, they don't even think about it, they've developed the reflexes. So our goal as a coach or coaches or box owner is to take our members through this, right? That's what transformational coaching is, right? But this piece here is friggin' dangerous. If you do a good integration, the dip won't be quite as deep, right? Because you're upskilling them earlier, so instead of having a skill level here, the skill level's there and it goes like this, right? So the dip isn't as steep, right? That's why integration and going slow and giving them some technique outside of class is really important. Is that okay? Is that cool? Yeah, okay, cool. So, this is something we use when we're explaining to them what they're going to be doing. We call it the feel, see, maintain graph. We use their needs, right? So we say, hey, you wanted to feel energized, you're feeling constantly tired, but you want a good tide, you're stressed. This is the stuff that when you start training, you're going to be feeling this stuff. Boom, 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 okay? To begin with, you won't see results, but you'll feel them, right? After a while, after a few workouts, you'll start to see results. You'll start to see that weight loss. You start to see that muscle gain, increased strength, etc., etc., etc. Not only will you see it, but you mentioned that you got dumped by the, yeah, your ex will see it too. She'll be going, shit, you've really, what is it called? Pimped up, glammed up, glowed up, glowed up, glowed. You've really pimped yourself, right? You really glowed up. They'll start saying, okay, so you use the needs on this graph, right? But then when you start to see it, what do you want to do? Will you stop training and stop doing CrossFit? Or will you continue? You want to ask them that question, right? You want to get it from them. No, I don't want to stop. Why? Because if you stop, what happens? You just go back to where you are today. We agree on that, right? The idea is that not only do you use CrossFit to get fit, but you use CrossFit to stay fit and get even fitter through time. So the idea is that at the point of sale and the beginning and in the induction, you're talking about this. You're talking about actually getting fit and maintaining your fitness. Yeah? So this is a really useful graph. It just gets their commitment. It gets them understanding that it's not a short-term fix. This isn't like joining Pure Gym and doing 3 months before summer. This is a long-term commitment. This you're going to integrate into your life. Your life will change forever. Right? And then you go and open your own fucking CrossFit gym, like most of us did, right? We've all been through this, right? We've all been through this. So this is just called the Feel, See, Maintain graph. If you want this, just I'll send you the flight. Okay. Whiteboard time. Okay. Define the actions. We don't have time for that. Upon joining, this is the stuff we do at point of sale. We ask for referrals on the day they join. We ask for referrals on the day they join. Will spoke about this, right? We have a really, it's a doggy sheet, doesn't look like much. It's got 5 blocks, name, surname, telephone number. It's literally, hey man, the best way for you to get results is actually for you to like have an appointment. When you got an appointment, you pitch up. You got an appointment with a coach, but imagine having an appointment with your friends. You're actually training with your friends and family. You're helping them get fit too. It'll mean that you stay consistent, and consistency is a key to results. So by them joining, it's going to help you, and you can help them get fit through CrossFit. Who in your entourage, friends, family, workmates, do you think need to get fitter and healthier today? Have you got a pen? You got a pen? Fantastic. Well, you got your phone? You got your phone, James? Yeah. Cool. Grab your phone, mate. Here's a pen. Here's a sheet. But there's only 5. We can only refer 5 people for free, okay? Because normally it's 25 euros a drop-in. But these 5 people will invite on your behalf. They'll come and train for free. They'll test out CrossFit, and if they like it, they can join you as a member, okay? Only 5 people, so choose wisely. I'll be back in a second. By the way, what size T-shirt? Medium? Small. Medium, small, okay. Do you prefer the black T-shirt or white T-shirt? Black. When you got the 5 names and numbers, we've got a little gift for you. You're going to have the CrossFit Louvre T-shirt. I'll be back in a second. And I leave him and that's it. And I walk away. And I leave him for a few minutes. He's got his phone in one hand, the pen in the other, and the sheet of paper in front of him. And if he writes the names and numbers on the sheet, I've got referrals. If he doesn't write the names and numbers on the sheet, It's like, oh, you don't want the t-shirt? Okay, no worries, mate. Oh, you don't want these free passes? Okay, just bring them in any time. As I said, it's only 25 euros per person. Don't worry about it, right? It's like, oh, come on. You look, you tell me who, go on, who do you want to invite, and I'll write for you. And then we work it together, right? And then we get the referrals, right? Simple as that. Is that cool? Referrals, nothing's, the only reason you don't get referrals, you know what it is? You don't fucking ask. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. In each of my clubs, I have 3 people working reception. In every club, there's an idiot. There's an idiot who doesn't ask for referrals. I've got one guy working in my gym. He's got 0 referrals this month. He's in the same gym as another guy who's got 90 referrals. 90 referrals. And they work off individual commission. Who's going to earn more commission this month? The guy with 90 referrals, right? Simple as that. It's a numbers game. Referrals is a numbers game. You join 20 people this month and you ask the 20 people for referrals. And if only 5 give you the referrals, you've got 25 fresh leads. They then become your next 5 members. And you ask them for referrals and so on and so forth, right? But just start asking. It's as simple as that, right? We give them a membership card, not because they need the membership card to get in, but because we've worked partnerships with the cinema, health insurance, mechanics, doctors, physios, masseurs, all types of masseurs. I'm kidding. You now understand why I got fired 3 times from CrossFit, right?
It's perfect for people to ask questions on how you keep people engaged and integrate them.
Oh yeah, just don't take yourself too seriously as well, right? But the membership card is literally they go to the cinema, and instead of paying 14 euros for an adult ticket, you pay 10. Why? Because you're a member of CrossFit Louvre. So you use your gym to go negotiate with the businesses around to get advantages. You can literally get back a big chunk of all the restaurants. You come to CrossFit Louvre 2, every single restaurant within 500-meter walk has a partnership program. You get 10 or 15% off every single meal you have within those restaurants, right? So those are little advantages that you get with the card. We give them goodies. Thank you for the patch, by the way. We give them a patch for the box. We give them a key ring. We give them a little zip bag. You know, like when you fly business? Excuse me. When you fly business, you get like a little pouch like that. They put like hand cream in and like patches and earbuds and all that kind of stuff. And we give them one of those. With CrossFit Louvre on, we fold up the contract. We give them a paper schedule that we tell them to put on their fridge with a class timetable. We put that in the bag. We put the key ring. We put all that kind of stuff in the bag. We put the membership card in the bag. We zip it up. We hand them it. They don't walk out with just a paper contract or having signed a contract. They walk out with some stuff. And then if they're giving us the referrals, what do they get? They get the t-shirt as well. And then they're rocking and rolling. Also, the day they join, while I'm putting their contract into the thing, they're doing the referrals, I come back. The details are in the system, which means they're getting an email with all the details to log into the app, right? So what do we do now? We download the app with them. If my mum joins your gym, she does not have a clue how to download a fucking app. She then doesn't have a clue how to relate the email she just got with a login to actually get into the app and then book a class, right? You want to take away all those barriers from your members. So we do it with them on that day. That's the one email. The second email, with the videos and extra reading, I said, we send an email with, it's got a link to the PDF of our on-ramp sessions. So you're going to be doing the on-ramp sessions, great, in session 1, 2, and 3. You're going to be looking at these things. You've got all the contents in this little booklet. I would recommend you read it before you come into the on-ramp classes. It'll give you a head start. Is that cool? That's cool, okay. And then if you really like CrossFit and you want to learn more, there's a level 1 manual that we recommend for all of our members. Our coaches have to go through it. It's compulsory for our coaches to go through this. But the reading's there. If you're interested in the methodology and it spikes your interest, you can read that. And we have 2 videos in that email as well. One with the head coach in it and one with the head of reception. So if the head coach isn't there when they join, they can see who it is. So if Andy's not here, I click on it and say, hi, I'm Andy. I'm the head coach here at CrossFit Louvre. I just wanted to say thank you for trusting us with your goals. Me and the team, we're here for you. Please come up and say hi. I look forward to seeing you in front of a whiteboard. It's as simple as that. They just put a name to the face, a face to the role, et cetera, and they know that we're on their side. So that email is an automated email within the system. We take the 3 sessions for the on-ramp. We do 3 group sessions on on-ramp. We book those sessions on the day they join. They do not leave the gym without having those appointments set. That's really important. Not only do we set them, but we ask them to put it into their calendar. If they're using a Google Calendar, put it into their Google Calendar and so on and so forth. We then put that into an Excel spreadsheet. And the day before the on-ramp, we confirm the appointment. Hey, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 5 p.m. for on-ramp number 2. It's going to be a great session. You'll be with Gavin as your coach. That's it, right? So we just confirm that appointment the day for the next day, right? What else do we do? We plan the first few workouts. Do we wait until they've done all the on-ramp to let them into classes? No. No. We don't tell them, hey, you're keen as mustard, but don't go into class. It's like, just understand that these guys have been around a while. We recommend that you can do the on-ramp as quickly as possible and early as possible. But if you want to do classes as well, we can do that. And we help them plan the first few weeks. So we take the class schedule, and we look at their schedule, and we help them plan the first few times they're going to come in the gym. So they know exactly the days and times they're going to be coming in and what they're going to be doing. So they may be doing the conditioning class. They may be doing just the yoga on a Friday evening. They may come in for the 5K run on a Saturday with the running club, whatever it is, right? But we plan all of that with them, okay? We introduce them to some of the team. Anybody of the team that's there, they know that when we're joining someone, they need to come up and present themselves and come and say hi, right? We explain also the 100 patch, 300 patch, 500 patch, and the 1,000 patch. So we have patches with 100, and it's got consistency, mechanics, consistency, intensity, CrossFit Louvre, 100, 300, 500. And they wear those on their bags like they've really achieved something, you know? It's like someone walks in the gym with the 1,000 patch on, they're Billy Big Balls, you know? They're like rocking like this, you know? And then we celebrate this. So every time we give out a patch, photo, Instagram, tag the person, it's on the story, they get a bit of recognition, there's a little bit of ceremony around it. When they get the 1,000 patch, at the 1,000 patch we give them a t-shirt as well. It's got gold on the back with 1,000 workouts, all this kind of stuff. You survived 1,000 CrossFit workouts, you're as hard as, right? You know, you've been through it. These are just setting benchmarks. Like, it is possible. You haven't done one workout with this yet, but know that one day we're going to give you the 1,000 patch. And we've got to go through this to get there, but we're going to get you to 1,000 workouts. How fit will you be after 1,000 CrossFit workouts, right? Is that cool? Is that, yeah? Okay, cool. A few good ideas there. Group initiations, okay. We confirmed the previous evening. We do the name tags like you guys have got today. They meet at reception. At the end of the session, the coach brings them back to reception to make sure that we've got their next session booked, right? And if they have any questions and that kind of stuff, right? Session number 3, we give them a little certificate, like the certificate you're on the level 1 or the level 2. And we do a little ceremony. So again, photo, like this, prove you've got all your teeth, no broken fingers, congratulations. We ask them for their Instagram handle. Why? Because we tag them on it. If they repost that, they're making a public declaration. They're announcing to their friends and family, I'm doing this shit. That's a big step. When they repost that photo, or at the end of session number 3, that's a big commitment on their part, right? So it's simple stuff, but a little bit of ceremony at the end of that. What else do we do? Oh, we also propose initiation number 4. So initiation number 4 is with the head coach, and we have a nutrition lady up in Paris, the 2 boxes in Paris. We ask them if they'd like to do a bilan, which is like a summary of nutrition and that kind of stuff. And it can sell them on the idea of maybe PT is for you, and maybe you want a nutrition follow-up. Those aren't compulsory, but those are options, right? So they can take the 4th. This is free. This is included in our on-ramp and our initiation. And it gives them they have to write down everything they eat and drink for 7 days before that session. And then analyze that with the person in front of them and have a chat about what they're doing. So this is, how can we can't undo in 1 hour of training the shit you do in 23. That's basically the message in initiation number 4, right? Is that cool? Yeah, okay. So as you can see, it takes some resource, human resources, there's a little bit of money, a little bit of time and that kind of stuff in thinking about integrating your new members. But the impact is they're more committed, they refer more people and earlier, and they stay longer. As simple as that, right? So if they're staying longer, what happens? You get fewer levers. You get fewer levers, you're going to get more net growth. You get more net growth, it's like that cycle of success, right? Is that cool? Okay. I hope we covered some interesting stuff. These are service calls. We plan service calls at 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. Who does a service call? It's the person who sells them the membership. What is a service call about? It's, hey, how you doing? Everything okay? Who's your favorite coach? Who's got the shittiest playlist? Oh, you had DOMs. Did you come in and do this? Did you come for the barbecue? We've got breakfast on Tuesday, all that kind of stuff, right? It's just making sure that everything's okay. And they have an opportunity, if something is wrong or they have a doubt or something's happened in their life, they have an opportunity to tell you before it's too late, right? So you can find solutions. Is that okay? Cool? Okay. Membership types, okay. These impact also your retention, right? But we want frequency, consistency, and results, obviously. Nutrition, we spoke about that. Okay. Next steps. This is the last slide because I'm fucking up there. He's having kittens. He's grown 2 inches. The affiliate toolkit content, there's some cool stuff in there, in all honesty, right? The team are producing some good stuff. We filmed a lot of content. We filmed some stuff on integration as well that's in there. You've got to go and find it. Honestly, you asked me to find it today, I can't find it. But it's in there. It's in the affiliate. Ask Garrett. These guys know. I don't know shit. I was put in a cupboard, so I don't know. I'm only allowed out for these events now. What else? Yeah, a book list. There's a book list of 16 books that I highly recommend to anybody who is thinking of having an impact in this industry. Whether you're an owner, a manager, or a future owner, manager. Who's a coach today? Put your hands up, who's a coach today? Okay, look around the room now. Everybody in this room at one point was probably a coach. And now everyone else is now a box owner. Unless you want to stay a coach for the next 30 years, what is your destiny? Your destiny is leading people and opening your own gym or managing a gym for someone else. So learn to do that as early as possible, and then you bring value to the person you're working with. If you're working, who's working for someone else now? Put your hand up if you're working for someone else. Fantastic. Make all the mistakes using their money. Right? It's the best way to go. When you're employed in a gym, you're being paid to learn. Right? As a box owner, it's a good way to look at it as well. You're paying these people to learn and grow them as much as you can. I would recommend you read that. It's a 16-list book list. My challenge was that if you can read those 16 books before the end of the year, I will give you a free 2-day course. And you can choose either the Introduction to Leadership and Developing High-Performance Teams course, or you can choose the Prospecting and Sales course. You just need to read 16 books, study them before the end of the year. If you want that list, write to me. I'll send you that list of books, but it's a pretty shit-hot list of books. I've been reading one non-fiction book since I was 28. So that's a long time now, so many years. I've been reading one book every single month. I've read a lot of shit, but I've read some really good books as well. And those 16, for what we do, I think are some of the best books that you can possibly spend your time studying. We're also developing with CrossFit a business level 1 and level 2. That'll be only for CrossFit affiliate owners and people that they want to manage their gyms. We're developing it now. We'll be doing a test at the end of the year with a hand-selected group of owners, and we'll be getting feedback off them to refine what we're doing. But I would bet some good money that before the end of the year there's a business level 1 and a business level 2. Keep your eyes out for that. It's going to be developed. It's developed by box owners. It's not theory that doesn't work. It's shit that we're literally applying, and we've got some of the smartest brains in the business working on this, and me. And we're bringing that together at the moment. So that's what we're working on. If you have any questions or anything, please just hit me up. Thank you for tolerating my bad sense of humor and not throwing a tantrum. And just a big thanks to Andy and Gareth for what they do here in the UK. We often look at the bad and we listen to, oh yeah, this, that, but listen, speaking to you guys around the room, spending time with the affiliates in the UK, and when I'm here, I think he's gone now, right? But Shakespeare's is down the road, so I'm always in their gym, and you guys fucking change lives. You really do make a huge difference. So thank you for what you're doing. Get a good reputation because it helps my business too, right? You know, and if I can help in any way, just hit me up. But thank you for your time. Thank you.
Being transparent and knowing Dan, we knew he was going to blow the time.
I knew you'd
we were super well prepared.
I knew you'd done that.